Alright, here goes nothing. I've set it up a little bit better than last time. So I'm going to open my script on my other screen and show you how to use my surf ramp creation tool in Blender. It should always make flawless surf ramps that work, that you can surf on and the collision doesn't suck, unlike the last version. You can even make shapes that are impossible to make in Hammer, like ramps that twist on multiple axes at the same time. Like in this one and this one at the same time. I'll start by adjusting the profile. So I hide everything except for the main ramp first. I'm going to go into edge select mode, I think. Face select mode. So I alt click this and get this whole loop sort of thing. I'll actually enable screencast keys so you can actually see what buttons I'm pressing. All right. And then I can view it from the side and move it with G like so. And now the bottom is a bit thicker. The textures are stretched. You can fix that quite easily. Just alt click this, shift alt click that, shift alt click that, shift click this and that, so that becomes the active face. You follow active quads by length, okay? And you're gonna hear me say that a lot, but here it is. Now this is fixed. The bottom of this looks messed up as well. Fix that. By going smart UV project, don't stretch the UV bounds. Okay, now it's the correct aspect ratio. And then I'm simply going to scale it up until it looks like it about matches the other stuff. I should have done that for the other face as well, so I'll scale it down again because I want them to be the same. So take this one, follow active quads by nope, sorry. Bit automated that I do that. All right, select both of these now at the same time and scale them up until they look good, like that, for example. So now the bottom is extra thick. Maybe you want that, I don't know. Just an example, you can change it however you like. Like you can select these two edge loops, scale on the x-axis. Now it's wider like that. You'll have to do, you know, the select both of these, unwrap, smart UV project, don't stretch the UV bounds. Oopsie, is that correct? Yeah. And then scale them up. Oh, scale them up in here. You have to do that again. You might have to change these because these are now wrongly stretched, but these are stretched the same, so you can just fix it by selecting all of these loops with alt shift click, and then take a face that isn't messed up, that is a quad, like a rectangular shaped quad as well, and then you go follow active quads by length. And now these are no longer stretched incorrectly, but I'm gonna undo this until that's back to normal. All right, because else it won't be very nice to surf. Actually, I'm gonna get rid of the fake bottom as well while I'm at it. There you go. So that's how to change the profile. Let's see how long that took me. Ooh, 4 minutes, my goodness. But I didn't even show it in the last version, so it's kind of important. I'm upside down. I'll show you how to change the profile on the hull as well. So hide this, show that. Bit more difficult. Take a side view, C for this cursor. Select all of these. Control L to select everything attached, X, and delete the vertices, because I only need one segment, so that I only have to change one segment. and then you go into wireframe mode with Z, go into vertex mode, select the vertices you want, and then move them, you know, and now they're moved. It's a bit more tedious to mess with this, and then after you've made the changes, so, you know, you don't want to change the profile too often because that's going to take bloody forever. Makes more sense to just have a couple different blend files with a couple different profiles that you like, and use those. And then you go, you know, you select everything, Shift D to copy it. Ooh, turn that mode off. Right. Shift D to copy it up. AA, Shift D, up. Till it is the length that it was before. Which I believe it is now. Yes. Alright, that's how to change the profile. Ooh, I'm gonna want to change it back, because obviously the physics hole needs to match the visible model, else it would be really awkward to surf on. Unusable, I would say. Ooh. Let's just... There you go, now I'm sure everything's back to how it was. Alright, let's see, I've adjusted the profile. Now I will make it longer. So let's start with the hole, there it's easier. Hide those for a second, view it from the side. Just, I'll make it twice as long by selecting everything. Now it's twice as long. Do this one. This one's a bit more complicated to make longer. View it from the side. Leave this magnet on, but you can turn this one off probably. Drag this up. Can unselect it. Now Ctrl R to add edge loops and scroll up. I'm going with 16 because then there's one every 128 units. And then right click so that they stay in place. Now the texture is still really stretched over here, but we can fix that. Go in face select mode. Click, Control click, U, follow active quads by length, hop. Repeat that process several times. Anyway, adjusting the profile and the length is very time consuming, but once you have a profile and length that you're happy with, you know, you can save it and you can just use it again. And there you go, now all the textures are fixed. And they're both longer than they were before. Ooh. I did an oopsie somewhere. Ah, I see. Somehow I managed to get these all offset a tiny bit. That's fine. Just go in wireframe, use the box selects like that. See if I have everything. I do believe I do. And then zoom in and press G to move it up. I see. I will turn on this mode. Just, well, I can't get it correct, so I'll just remove it. Turn off this mode now. Select everything. Shift D it up. Move it down. Move it down further. There you go. Now it's properly aligned. And this is what you want to see. This Z fighting going on. That's good. Why is it not happening on this side? I'm gonna go ahead and pretend I'm not seeing that because I'm sure it's fine. And 10 minutes in and I've only showed a tiny little bit. Oh well. Now I'm gonna hide the hole. I'm gonna make this shorter because, you know, you might have made it too long. So that's fine. I'll just select with edge select mode, Alt Shift click these edges. Say I want all of these gone, I go dissolve edges. I go in face select mode, select this face, pull it down to here. And now I just have to fix the squished textures. Make sure that the dotted texture is the active one, is the correct one. The last one you clicked is always the active one. So just keep that in mind. Here, I can actually just Alt Shift click all of these. Make sure this is the last one. Follow active quads by length. Maybe, I don't know if that's faster, but now there's no seam between this and this. There is between this face and these though, but oh well. So I've made it shorter. All right. Now I'll make the hole shorter, bit easier. Just gonna use the C cursor like this. Control L to make sure everything that's attached is selected and delete the vertices. Ta-da. So I showed you how to make it longer and shorter, alright. I'll show you how to adjust the length of the curve. So click on the curve in the list, press tab to edit it. I'm gonna go ahead and hide the hole because that's kind of distracting. As you can see, the curve is too short compared to the rest of the ramp. But I like to keep one segment per 512 units. So you can select one of the points on the curve and press E to extrude. And likewise, if you want to make it shorter, you select the points you don't want anymore and press X vertices. But I do want these points. So that's how you make the curve longer. I'm gonna move it over there. It's nice in the middle. Because the position of the curve determines where the ramp is. If I move the curve, everything will move with it. So that's pretty cool. Yes. Now how to adjust the curve. Here, this is the fun part you've been waiting for the last 12.5 minutes. You can just drag these around or drag them around with precision in these views, in the side views and all that. This front of the curve determines where the ramp goes. I don't know how to make it stick to the middle of the ramp. So it always follows one side of the curve. Alright, so now I've got a ramp, but now I will perform the impossible for you. Oops. The impossible for you by curving it on 2 axes at the same time. Wow, what is this? 2018? Oh. If you mess with the one before the one at the end, you're going to want to mess with the end as well. And likewise, if you mess with the end, you're going to want to mess with the one before the end as well. Else it like twists the whole ramp. Oh, bad example. Twists the whole ramp, which you don't want, because then this is not comfortably surfable and this is not even the right angle. You could walk on this. So, you know, keep that in mind. You want this spine to be relatively up or forward pointing. So here's a crazy ramp shape. That's pretty cool. I will, of course, you don't necessarily want to use my included textures that are packed inside the blend file. You might want to use your own textures. So I'll start with renaming the material. That's done in the materials tab. You want to select the ramp, not the ramp hoe or the path. I'm gonna hide both of those for now. And then I have this directional 01 set for the faces and rock 01 set for everything else. So if I go into edit mode, you can select all the ones with the rock texture, or select all the ones with this texture, which will be important, by the way. So I can rename this to your texture, your other texture. That's pretty cool. This will be the name of the VMT file, your model VMT file, which I'll tell you more about in a second, but I forgot to put that in the script, so it might be really awkward. Anyway, I'm gonna change those names back, I hope, maybe, ever, no? Please, change them back. Huh. Right then, Roc01, directional 01. Yes, these have to be correct for it to be able to compile, unless you check this option somewhere around here, ignore blender materials, and then it will use the name of the texture file that you set over here. I prefer using the materials though, because then it says PNG in it. I don't know. Another thing, so now you've got these materials and you want a different one for the face, so you select all of these. How do you actually change the visible texture so that you can align it to look nice with your texture? You can do so over here in the UV window, which I just have over here in the blend file. And you just go plus, okay, open a file, select your file like this, and there you go. Now you've got this visible texture and you can align it however you like. Not too shabby. If you want to get rid of a texture so it doesn't stay in the blend file, you have it selected and you shift click this X. Bye-bye. Now it has a 0 next to it. That means next time if you save the blend file now and close Blender and open the file again, it will be gone. So this untitled one, get it out of here. And I will select this texture instead. Go into edit mode, select these faces, that one. Oh, see, now this 0 is gone. Get rid of this, that one. Nice. And that's how you change the preview texture and the material to match your needs. I'll export and compile it. You will have to change your game path and your engine path. The other settings should be fine. You don't have to mess with those. So export both files and press the QC file. Yes, I'll talk about the QC file next. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to close this blend file and show you what a QC looks like. So put that on this screen if I can. Yes. All right, here's when I run out of script. So it might get awkward, but that's fine. Here's where you change the name of the model. So I named mine tutorial and then ramp 10. I don't know why. I just did. It's not even the 10th ramp either. It's whatever. These you probably don't want to touch. You might have to change this number if your ramp has an insane amount of segments. Actually, not that insane. My ramp has 24 segments. Each segment is made out of 3 different segments so that it actually works. And all the quads are flat, and where that wouldn't be possible, they're triangles, so it's all good. So with the 24 pieces, 24 times 3 is a number. 72, I think. That's almost 100. So if your ramp is more than 33 segments long, you might have to increase this number. I don't know if there's a max to how high you can increase it, but there you go. Don't need to change this, don't need to change that. This is where it looks for the materials. So this actually exists. Talk about the materials in a second. Surface prop for your model, and then say that it's a static prop, because come on now, ramps are static props, I guess. Yes. Here's what a regular brush would use. Got your diffuse texture, And in my case, I use SS bump, so my normal map looks a bit weird, but this is an SS bump map. Google it or something. You make it with SS bump generator, or perhaps some other tool, but it's the only one that I know of. And this, if I can get it on the right screen, is what a VMT looks like for my material. And this, excuse me, is what a model material looks like. Yes, light map generic for the brush, vertex lit generic for the model. This brush uses my bump texture as normal. The model uses a different normal texture, one that I didn't turn into an SS bump, because models do not support SS bump. So if you use SS bump, you'll have to have a separate normal map for that. Surface prop is the same. SS bump is on here. I removed the line here. It doesn't actually matter because it can't use SS bump anyway, but why leave it in there? Just remove it. This stayed the same. Reflections work the same. However, brushes seem a little less reflective, or models seem a little more reflective, so I adjusted the env map tint to match the original brush texture. I will include these example VMTs in the project as well, with the blend file and the QC. That's everything, pretty much. I'll just show you how it looks in game, how it works in game. So I have a map here. Let's see here, the small point is here. So this is the ramp I just made. Yes. The settings, I think everything is default. Let me make this readable for a second. I didn't touch this. Don't use light maps, wouldn't work anyway because the UV map is not in the 1:1 scale, which allows me to use titleable textures. So it's worth it. Disable self-shadowing with vertex lighting. I don't know, probably don't need this. It's more for like trees where the shadows of the leaves might make it ugly. So this isn't really necessary. Disable vertex lighting. No, why would you do that? The origin is in case you use origin lighting. I'm not sure whether this uses vertex lighting or origin lighting, honestly. So I'm not going to talk about that further because I just don't know what I'm talking about. Compile it. And I'll show you it in game. The moment you've all been waiting for. If it doesn't work now, I'll be severely disappointed. Yeah, Flux has been running the whole time, which is pretty annoying, but oh well. I'm turning it off now because it makes my game lag a little bit in windowed mode. OBS refuses to capture full screen for some reason. So you see it's curving in this direction, it's curving in that direction. V collide wireframe 1 shows that the wireframe is functional and looking good. All the lines are where they should be. And that was quite a fight to accomplish. I'm gonna get rid of that now. Build the cube maps. As you can see, reflections look quite nice, I think. And there are no bumps whatsoever because I divided the ramp segments for the collision model into triangles so that the curve modifier in Blender no longer tries to take my planes and then turn them into planes that are in the correct position for the curve but no longer planar, I don't know, flat. They're not flat anymore, and which is what messed it up. triangles are always flat because they have only 3 points. So that's pretty neat. I can get off the bottom of the ramp without any problems as well, as far as I've been able to test. Walk on the top seems to be fine also. So yeah, that's pretty good. I might include a couple different ramp profiles, and I'll update the download link in the video description, so you don't have to worry about it. So that you don't have to make those. A couple different lengths as well for each of the profiles, so that you have just have more presets and you don't have to mess with it quite as much. Because, you know, you don't want to be spending 25 minutes on every ramp. If at least the profiles were handled, that would cut out at least 5 to 10 minutes of work. Well, I mean, if you happen to be explaining every step you do while you're doing it for some reason, that definitely is pretty time consuming as well. I think the thumbnail will have something like this. While I'm at it, I guess. You know, I don't have to do that while recording. Yeah, I think the video's over. That's everything I wanted to cover.